Welcome to the OnlyFans Secrets Marketing Podcast. The goal of this podcast is to help both new and established OnlyFans creators learn the basics of online branding, marketing, and promotion to help you make more money with your content and maximize your time online. My name is Richard Lewis, and I have over 20 years of internet marketing experience. So let's get started with today's topic. And that topic is, how much does it cost for OnlyFans advertising on social media? Right, so this episode is on a topic I get asked about a lot, and namely, how much does it actually cost to market yourself on social media, and specifically for your OnlyFans. In this episode, I'll go over the costs on major social networks and how to best use paid marketing. Okay, so who can use social media advertising? So you'd be surprised that not just big brands use social media marketing. As we've, reviewed before, you should be promoting your brand, not so much, your OnlyFans itself. So if you're a creator who does 18 plus material, for most social networks, you want to go ahead and be marketing yourself and your brand identity, as opposed to necessarily what you're doing on your OnlyFans. So, you can use social media advertising to build up that brand. Now, as I mentioned, the tools that you use most of the time are the same tools that a big brand would use. Pretty much these social networks are set up as far as their advertising back end, for everyone. They can be a little complicated to use. So definitely want to read, up on, their facts and, everything about them. But you can go ahead and use these yourself. Okay, so what are the costs on popular platforms, right now? So in 2021, how much does it cost to advertise? So I'm going to break down by concept and not so much by social channel. So I'm going to start with minimum daily ad budgets. Super exciting. So that's the minimum amount that you can spend every single day in order to advertise. So with Facebook, the minimum is $1 a day. So, that's pretty good. And then for impressions, now that's a little different than their secondary, which is clicks, likes, or views. So impressions is basically just, ads that how many times it's going to be displayed. Not always ideal as far as a marketing technique. And the $5 minimum, that's for the clicks, likes, and views. Those are the things you actually want. Those basically, are you're paying for not just having the ad displayed out there, but actually getting some sort of results. So the increase there is, obviously what people want more. So they're willing to go ahead and let you do $1 for impressions, but, what's really going to make you money and what everyone wants to use is the $5 for clicks, likes, and views. Now, what about Instagram? Well, luckily Instagram being owned by Facebook is the exact same thing. So it's $1 for impressions and a daily and $5 for clicks, likes, or views. And then YouTube is $10 minimum per day to use YouTube ads. And then Twitter has no minimum whatsoever, which, they are always trying to get people to advertise on Twitter. Basically what that shows there is that, Facebook, knows that you need them, and Twitter really wants you to use them. And, YouTube being owned by Google, they just do their own thing. YouTube for them has always been a bit of a loss. They're always trying to make it profitable. I'm sure everyone has been invited to use YouTube Premium 100 times a day for the last 5 years, and no one has bought it. So YouTube is reasonable at $10 per day, but that can still be quite a bit of investment. Okay, so second concept would be average advertising costs. So, these are estimates based on, like a best possible campaign. Like people went out and they run these, and, these are estimates. So what you can estimate to have to spend. And basically for Facebook, it's saying, 97 cents, per click, was as an average. And then astonishingly, Instagram is $3.56 per click, which I've definitely done Instagram advertising, and I can attest to that. People are not on Instagram because they want to click off of Instagram. That's what I've found about Instagram, or they don't want it to be, sent somewhere else. That's what I get. They're there to click through. If they see something that's interesting, then they'll go check out your profile, not necessarily follow it. They're like, people are on Instagram to consume content as quickly as possible and jump off. So because of that, you end up paying more per click because it's harder for them to actually get you a click. While Facebook, people are just clicking away. Like, oh, I'm leaving Facebook. They're just on Facebook to leave Facebook. Like, okay, I get on Facebook to see what else is going on that I can check out. So that's how you get the discrepancy there in your per clicks. And then you have YouTube, which is $3.21 per click. And then good old Twitter, average cost of 38 cents per click. So again, you would think that Twitter was what everyone would use because it's the most reasonable for all of these things. But I also get the vibe, just overall from Twitter, that you can get people to do things anyway on Twitter. That's the big issue with Twitter is that, like, why would you pay when you can get people to just click off and create a good tweet and they'll do it anyway? So again, that's, I guess that's why Twitter is a little cheaper, because again, people are clicking so much that it doesn't even really matter. Okay, so then you have your next concept is advertising costs. So you have, Facebook, which is $7.19 per 1,000 impressions. Now I'm using American dollars for those listening outside the United States. I'm using this as a generalization, so American dollars. And that's, $17.19 per 1,000 impressions on Facebook. And then for Instagram, $7.91 per 1,000 impressions. And YouTube is $9.68 per 1,000 impressions. And Twitter is, once again, the winner here at $6.46 per 1,000 impressions. So an impression basically is just any time that something pops up, your ad, pops up on their screen. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're seeing it. And I will say another thing about Twitter. It could be that, you see a lot of things when you're going through your Twitter, a little, crowded. I mean, that's the same for Facebook. So, that could be another reason why the costs are a little bit lower. So again, these are pretty reasonable prices for, the kind of exposure that you're going to get. It's all about managing them. Now, obviously I left off TikTok. So what about TikTok? They only advertise the cost of their in-feed ads. So I can only speak to that. And I have, the ability to speak to estimates. So their minimum spend is $50, for in-feed ads. And then their CPM, which is the cost per 1,000, is as low as, according to this Digiday article. They did a test because, again, TikTok doesn't release this kind of information. And they say that the CPM can be as low as $1. So it's $1 per 1,000, which is staggeringly lower than everybody else, according to this. But again, this article could just be trying to get eyeballs. And then they said that the, CPM rate, so CPM around $1.82 or $1.19 per click. Again, since TikTok won't release it, you end up getting these very drastically odd estimates from other companies. TikTok advertising, if it's something that you want to use, go ahead and check it out. But as of right now, they're not releasing the kind of information that I would be able to tell you, how much it exactly costs. Okay, so getting through the numbers, what does all this mean for you as a marketer on your OnlyFans? Okay, so as we've gone over in the podcast, right now, 2021, social media, most marketing can be free with a bit of hustle. So if you're out there constantly working, constantly posting, constantly working on your content, you're going to reach a lot of people, and people are visual. So if you're trying to appeal in a visual way with pictures, video, that's exactly what, social media wants. So that's, you're probably going to be able to avoid having to, utilize these costs. All right, but once you have solid popularity on a platform, having some automation can help. So for those who are established and are currently making a decent amount from their OnlyFans, or, their social media is popping, it could help you to utilize some of these costs, because, if you're looking at, $1, for impressions a day, or $5 in clicks, or you're trying to promote something specifically, it could definitely be worth it to go ahead and automate some things, or at least do some testing that, with these kind of costs, just to see, again, if you spend $50 and you're making, $1,000 a month with your OnlyFans, and you spend $50 to test add something out and it doesn't work, well, you're out $50. If you spend $50 and it does work, now you might want to be spending $100 or $200, and you could be ending up spending, a bit more, but making a lot more on your OnlyFans because you're increasing your brand popularity. So it's definitely something to consider. And then, as I've talked about, establishing your main platform, your main social channel. And once you move to your second platform, it could save you time. So if you're now moving to your second platform, and you're having to create different kind of content that's taking up your time, and you really want to devote a lot of time to this second platform, building, spending some money on your main platform, again, to advertise the next platform that you're on, might be a good investment, because now you can utilize all those people. And certainly for a lot of these channels, they have, like my follower kind of advertising. So you can select, if you have 10,000 followers, you can say, only advertise to people like my followers, and they will, look at those people. Or even with, Twitter, I believe it is, you can take, 50 followers and give them those 50 followers and say, okay, just like these people are the people who are following these people. So again, it can broaden out your appeal on that particular channel while you're off building up your second channel. Again, a little bit of automation, a little bit of time saving, but you have to measure between, your money and your time, And as I said, for most marketing, it's worth testing out. With some of these, low fees, so $5, $5 over 4 days, test something out, you're out $20, but you've learned something. Again, it's obviously you guys' money, so you make these decisions on your own, but it could help. Okay, so, question is, does the platform have, a large audience for you to reach out on, on your own? So is the platform so large that it would be impossible for you to gain everyone and reach out to everyone that possibly would be interested in your niche?